For more than a decade, a show called MASH did something that very few television shows in history have ever pulled off. It could make audiences roar with laughter in one scene, and then quietly wipe away tears in the very next. Even though it was set right in the middle of the Korean War, its stories were never really just about battles and guns. They were about real friendship, quiet sacrifice, and the heavy emotional weight of saving lives. And right at the center of this beautiful madness was Alan Alda as Captain Hawkeye Pierce, a character whose sharp wit and warm heart became the very soul of the entire series. But when MASH first hit television screens back in 1972, its future looked incredibly dark. The first season struggled badly with ratings, and most of the cast was convinced they'd get canceled before they even found their footing. Those early episodes relied way too much on cheap, silly comedy, and something just felt off. In fact, Alan Alda himself later admitted that there were some early episodes that completely missed the mark of what the show was truly meant to be. It's wild to think that one of the most legendary shows in television history almost died before it even got a chance to live. One particular episode from those early days became famously disliked by longtime fans. It was called Major Fred C. Dobbs, and the plot involved Hawkeye and Trapper trying to prank Frank Burns into staying at the camp by tricking him with a fake story about hidden gold. Even Alda didn't hold back, later describing it as one of the absolute weakest and silliest ideas the show ever produced. The characters behaved in ways that didn't make any sense, and the jokes completely lacked the emotional honesty that fans would later fall in love with. But in a strange way, that terrible episode became the ultimate turning point for the series. The writers suddenly realized that viewers wanted much more than just cheap, silly gags. They wanted to see real people facing real, raw human struggles. From that moment on, MASH completely changed, masterfully blending laugh-out-loud comedy with powerful, heartbreaking drama. That single shift transformed it into both one of the funniest sitcoms and one of the greatest dramas ever made. Sometimes, you have to hit rock bottom creatively just to realize what kind of masterpiece you are actually meant to build. Of course, the show wouldn't have been the same without its incredible cast. Alan Alda was surrounded by legendary actors like Loretta Swit, Gary Berghoff, Jamie Farr, Harry Morgan, Mike Farrell, and David Ogden Stiers. Even as the years went by and cast members left the show, that magic, family-like chemistry never faded. Instead, every new face brought fresh energy while keeping that cozy, tight-knit feeling of the 4077th intact. Now, not everyone was a fan of the TV show. Robert Altman, who directed the original 1970 MASH movie, openly hated the series, complaining that it had drifted too far from his dark, cynical vision. But millions of everyday viewers absolutely loved the TV version's warm and deeply emotional approach. In the end, the television adaptation became one of the highest-rated and most celebrated shows in American history. Because at the end of the day, people don't fall in love with cold, cynical ideas. They fall in love with characters who feel like family. Then, the final curtain had to fall. After 11 unforgettable seasons, the show said goodbye with a special finale called Goodbye, Farewell, and Amen. It became a massive cultural event, watched by over 100 million people. Hawkeye's final storyline wasn't about heroic speeches or loud action. Instead, it took a painful, honest look at the mental scars left behind by war and how hard it is to truly heal. Alan Alda gave the performance of his life, reminding everyone that even the strongest, funniest people carry invisible wounds that bleed in silence. And that is exactly why that final episode is still so incredibly tough to watch today. You weren't just saying goodbye to a TV character. You were saying goodbye to people who had literally been in your living room for over a decade. The tears on screen felt so real because they actually were. The cast wasn't just acting. They were saying a real, heartbreaking goodbye to friendships that had lasted 11 long years. Saying goodbye to MASH felt like packing up your childhood home. You knew life would go on, but it would never quite feel the same. More than 40 years later, MASH is still inspiring new generations because it never lost sight of the basic human heart. It proved that even in the absolute darkest times, kindness can survive, and sometimes, laughter is the only shield we have against the pain of the world. If you loved going down memory lane with this timeless television masterpiece, make sure to like this video, share your favorite MASH moment in the comments below, And subscribe to Hollywood Bulletin so you never miss our next story about the stars and legends you love.